Today we talk about sex, but not what maybe most people on this world think, but instead how to overcome the sexual drive, how to deal with sexual feelings, sexual thoughts, and the bodily feeling. Because some of you are so intensively on the spiritual path that they also want to overcome things which have to do with sexuality, because you want to overcome things which have to do with the body, so that the body can't entangle you anymore in this world, in this material world, with the bodies of other people. And first of all, a compliment. When there is a big sexual drive, this is also a sign that you are very close to the shift of consciousness, to the enlightenment. Because whenever someone has strongly emotional feelings, now besides sex, or someone has this sexual feelings, sexual drive, which is very strong, then this is a sign that there is much energy. You have lots of energy. Most people which are not on this path waste this energy for, as you know, just for the material thing, for the bodily thing. Others suppress this energy and it grows in the unconscious. I will go deeper into that into a minute, but you do the right way, and that's what the video is about. But first of all, one very basic aspect which is so important and which most people don't know, and this is the belief or the thought that we have to do sex, that we have to give this to the body. So how to deal now with this sexual drive? As I already said, it is as well as with the emotions, or with the especially negative emotion, it's the same thing. Most people act it out, and all the press, all the magazines, even the health magazines from the health system or other institutions which are working for health, which are working for well-being, they all say sex is so important and we have to support sex and so, but there is a thing which they don't focus, and that is, for example, that after a high in our life, always there comes a low also. The Stoic knew that, and that's why they avoided to party and to get these highs, because they knew that after that, then the low comes the next day, or even after sex, sometimes it comes few days later that then the depression follows. Especially for people who are on the path on enlightenment, who are on the path on the self-development, this kind of higher self, to find their true self. There also it is the case that after sex it can happen that 3, 4, 5 days later suddenly you have a depression. I suffered for that also. Even I was aware about this in the age of 20, but I didn't know how to deal with it, and I didn't know, nobody told me, nobody knows these things. It was a long life process to figure out such things from philosophy and from psychology, what happens there actually, and why is that, and what can we do against it. Because as I said, most people just do the sex because there is the feeling or a thought, or they are just influenced from someone, they are just impressed or convinced from the partner to do it. So they actually didn't even want it, but the partner convinced the person to do it, and so they do it. Or of course, you can also be forced. That is the worst case. So they do the sex in any of these cases. That's what most people do, but we are not like most people, because we develop compared to the other 95% of the people who not develop. We are these 5% from the whole world which develop. And so most people who develop, unfortunately, suppress, because what is the opposite of acting it out? It's suppression. That's what we normally know from psychology, what is the very ordinary thing we don't want to avoid. And many people, all from the whole history of Catholics and of strict church rules, they were about these things, that they have to suppress the sexual feeling because it's not good. And so on the one hand, they are right to deal with it, to not act it out, and to not get attachment to the world or attachment to the other gender or to any gender, whatever is there today also. But now there are, even with this gender thing, there are even more opportunities, as you know. And so many people which go wrong paths, they try this and that, and then they change back, and then they want the other gender, and it's so crazy. There's so many crazy people nowadays, and the more things are allowed and are accepted, and I'm not against it, I'm very tolerant, they can do it, and I accept everyone who does it. That's absolutely okay. But the point is, the more things exist, the more people try around, and the more they got attachments and entangled in the world, and they don't find the true path, the path of the true self-development. And that's so risky, and that's not good. But that's another topic. Our topic is now how to overcome. So we can't suppress, because as you know from Sigmund Freud and Carl Jung, the more you suppress, it goes down in the unconscious. The unconscious is much more bigger, and things happen without our control. And whatever is suppressed, it grows in our unconscious areas. When you act it out, it's okay, you can deal it, it's under the control in most cases when it's not forced. But when you suppress it, you have the problem that it grows and you forget the sex. Maybe you go in other activities or an overactivity even, what's also not good, just to run away from it. But that's a normal failure we do on our meditation path, on our self-development path. Many people do, to run away from the sexual feeling and to entangle in more work on things like this. That's a failure, and how to overcome it will come in a minute. But in long term, it will not work, because the suppressed sexual feeling will come back, and it is grown then, and then it will explode, in the sense of some people lose the control, not absolutely, because you're developed, you don't go out and rape someone, although this would be not good. But some maybe go on masturbation, which is not good, which is actually, it's the same problem like with the sex, or others just act it out with someone. So suppression is also not the solution, even if it sounds better, first of all, but in long term, it is also not the solution. And how we did it in the video about the emotions, as I told you, it's now the same. We transcend it. We transcend the sexual feeling. But it's not just a feeling. You must see there are several aspects. There are emotions, there are thoughts, and there is the bodily feeling. We have to deal on all levels with it. And that's what makes it so heavy. Because the sexual feeling, as well as other emotions also, can appear on different levels. But I will maybe see that even sexual feeling can appear on more levels, and so that's why it makes it even more heavy to overcome or to deal with it. But first, the bodily was arised in the evolution. After then, the mind and the thoughts were evolved, and after then, the emotions are an outcome of thoughts. So first of all, you have to deal with the emotions. Whenever there is something which has to do with sex and emotions at the same time, then the emotions are the latest outcome. These people are very entangled in this world because the emotions are already working. They are already entangled with the thoughts and with the bodily feeling. So everything is present, everything is there. So these people which have an emotional feeling together with the sex, this also comes together when you have a crush. In the case of a crush, that's the case that you have that emotions are entangled also. And that's the worst case, because then you have to reveal the first of all the emotions, later then the thoughts and the bodily feeling. But it will appear from alone. You do it step by step, not as I told it here now. I tell it a little bit faster, that the video is not so long and that you will understand it in a short time. But you go it step by step, and the first thing is you have to solve the problem with the emotions. But when you are developed and you are already overcame it, you are not in a crush with someone, there is no emotion. Sometimes there is just a sexual thought without emotions, because you are in a partnership or you are alone, and sometimes there's just a thought. Then you do the next step, you skip the emotional thing when you are not attached with this thing. That's very good already. So then we go to the thoughts. What we are doing there, we observe the thoughts first of all. You see, there is this sexual thought, it's just a thought. I can deal with it because it's not a bodily feeling, it's just a thought which tells me, oh, I need sex. I have not had sex for, I don't know, 2 weeks or so, so I have to do it. So that's just a thought actually, which makes considerations about sex, because I don't know, maybe someone is bored. In most cases, most people all over the world, they are overstimulated from their media or from their work or from whenever they are entangled in this world. And then they also think, oh, I need to relax. And then some people use even sex as a stress reduction method. So they use sex to reduce their stress from everyday life. That's also appearing from a thought which thinks, oh, I have to calm down and I have to do the sex now with my partner. So that's the next thing, and which many people have. But you maybe already have overcame this because you're on a meditation path or you're on a self-development path. You have other thoughts there. You are already calm And sometimes it can appear, there comes this sexual thought, which in Catholics or in other religious groups, they would say that's a demon which tries to tell you about you have to need the sex. So they see that the thought is a demon. So Ephagrius Ponticus was talking about it. Later it became the teaching of the sins. The 7 main sins came from the teachings of Ephagrius Ponticus in early monk of the 4th century. And there it was called the 8 demons, and one of the demons was the sexual demon, which tries to tell you we need sex now, or we haven't had it for so long, and blah, 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 like this. But that's just one aspect. Now we see it as thoughts, as it realistically also is. And we deal with it how we deal same with the thoughts. We transcend it. So that means you take the thought, and now it comes, now the meditation, the most essential part of the video comes, because now the transcendental part appears. You see the thought. Observation is already meditation, because when you see it, when you are aware that there is this thought, it's a sexual thought or it's an emotion or whatever appears, you see it. When you see it, see not with the eyes, seeing with your inner awareness, then you are already developed, then you are already in kind of a meditation. You are aware that it's there. You first of all, you accept it, because when you suppress, when you reject it, that's suppression already. That's not good, as we talked about it. But what you do then is to transcend it. You try to pull it to your body center, to your lowest chakra, where actually, which is nearby the sexual area. So you can say you don't have to pull it so far, it's already there at the lowest chakra. So, and then you pull it up. First of all, on a bodily level, you do it with deep breaths. You breathe deep, and whenever you breathe out, then you consider, first it's just a mental consideration, but it will become a meditation also, because from the mental level you go in the spiritual level also. You not only consider it, first of all you consider it, because you have to understand when I explain it here now, you consider it with the mental first, that you pull this sexual thing up to your brain, or to not the brain, you pull it up to the higher chakras. And whenever you need the energy somewhere, you can even leave it at the heart already. Now, when you want to be more kind, a more lovely person, you can also leave it at that. It will feel very good. But you can also pull it higher to your brain areas. When you are, for example, a writer and you need more energy there, or you are in studies or something like this, you need the energy somewhere else instead of the sexual organs, then you pull it even higher. But if you want the enlightenment, of course, you pull it even more higher. You pull it higher than the head. You pull it, you can say, over the head, where these enlightened areas actually are in the spiritual world, where your connectedness begins, where your connection to that higher thing, whatever these dimensions are, they are beyond time and space. We can't develop. Maybe quantum physics could explain, because they have already explained kind of a quantum field, whatever there is for a field. We don't know it, but we have to pull up these energies and to connect there, and then you will get the good feeling, the true good feelings, which are 1,000 times better than any orgasm. There is some higher energy, and then the connectedness comes, then the peace comes, then the delightful feeling, the bliss comes. Then there is so much positive energy and this higher positive emotions which are suddenly there, just because you gave up the sexual thought, you gave it, you went in devotion, and you sacrifice yourself in not doing it. Instead, you share this energy with the highest thing and with the world, and then you get something back, and that's the very greatest energy you can get. And it will have also good outcomes, as I said. Then you can even use it for studies or for other things. You will have more energies in life. You will not be so tired anymore. Even people who suppress see that there are already results from suppressing just what is actually wrong. I told you suppressing is wrong, but most people don't know it. And so they suppress, and even those ones see that there are very good results. There are also videos about it on other channels, like from NoFap, from this NoFap movement, that when you suppress it, that you will have more energy and you can do more actions, you will not be so tired. And so that's okay, that's normal. But when you are even transcending it instead of suppressing, you will have even more energy. And that's the essential aspect that will bring you the enlightenment. And so that's the essential aspect, that you use the transcendental meditation instead of suppressing, and that's new. And as well as you did it with thoughts or with emotions, you can also do with the bodily feeling. Whenever you have resolved all these emotions, all the thoughts which entangled you maybe for many years in any beliefs about sex, that you have to have sex from time to time, or that, you know, all these thoughts or beliefs or even attachments, emotions, whatever there was, let's say you already gave them up. It's already done. You are developed. Now you have this transcendental meditation and you are done. And then there comes the next step. The body is still there. The body also will try it with you, even if there are not the thoughts, not the emotions. Then the body will start also. There is just the bodily feeling. That's the very natural sexual feeling. Then you will feel the very first time in your life that there's a natural sexual feeling which is free from thoughts and emotions. And that's okay. But even this you can suppress and go in the wrong ways. So you do it the same way. You just feel it. You accept it, you don't suppress it, and then you do the transcendental meditation, as well as I explained with the thought, you also do just with the bodily feeling. You just try to pull it up while deep breathing and while first of all considering to pull it up, and then you go deeper in meditation and you feel it really to pull it up. And if it doesn't work, then after a few minutes you go back to work and you feel, oh, it's still disturbing, okay, then you sit again on your meditation place, you try it again. It's just few minutes. You spend few minutes of your day. It's very low. Maybe you try it for 5 minutes, then you go back to work, then you feel, oh, it's still there. You go another time, you go, let's say 30 minutes later of working, you go back to the meditation place, you try it again, another 5 minutes, then it will work, and you are done. So you don't have to spend even so much time, even videos longer to learn it. Instead, when you have already done the transcendental meditation, it is so fast, then the next times it is even faster. You can just sit for 1 or 2 minutes and everything is okay. You will get more control about this. And when you get control just about a sexual thing, then also you will get control more about your mind, and then you will also come closer to the enlightenment, where you get the connection with the real mind, with the higher mind, with the supreme mind, what people call God, or when you say there is also the higher self inside of you, higher than you, higher than your ego, which is connected with God, with this higher supreme mind, then also you will get the connectedness there. But just when you give up this selfish ego feeling or bodily feeling of sexual things, and thoughts and emotions, whatever is there, you sacrifice yourself, you give it up, you go in devotion, you do it for God, and everything is fine. You develop, and that's why we are on this channel. So now you develop. I will give other videos about this also. So see you next time. Have a good time. Bye.